on the Sooner Sports Network from Learfield. Live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue. This is Sooner Sports Talk, presented by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. Sooner Sports Talk is also brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, and by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. This is Sooner Sports Talk. Now, here's Chris Plank and Teddy Lehman.
Welcome back to Rudy's. In any moment, the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables, will join us right here on this seat. We'll recap the win over Alabama, preview Missouri, but please welcome in Butkus Award winner, Bednarik Award winner, and the best color analyst in the game, Teddy Lehman. What's up, Teddy?
Appreciate it, Plank. Appreciate it.
How about that on Saturday, huh?
Man, that was a lot of fun.
That was
still flying high after that one. That was intense, down to the wire, and bunch of memorable plays and moments for sure.
Yeah, we're going to break them all down throughout the I guess next hour, and obviously throughout the week. But Ted, we were just talking about the key to getting refocused, right? We're going to celebrate this one. We're going to talk about it. Brent's got a press conference tomorrow. Teleconference will be asked about it. But last week he talked about team leadership and guys stepping up and saying, we got this, coach. That's got to be pretty exciting whenever you consider what's out in front of this team.
Yeah, everything I've ever seen with these guys, the way they operate, the way they practice, the way they play, nothing leads me to believe that, okay, that was a great moment and we're done. You know, yeah. They're led by a bunch of great guys, as you mentioned. I think they got a good head on their shoulders, I guess you would say, as a football team, and I would imagine incredibly motivated, and you know that game's got to be a launching point, yeah. not the destination of this season.
Yeah. By the way, the defense chant has started as we wait on Coach Venables. This is one of the more creative things I think that has happened here.
Yeah.
There we go. There he is. I knew it was just a matter of time. What's up, Coach? Our opening segment, by the way, is brought to you by McIntyre Law. Noble McIntyre with McIntyre Law, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorneys.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Coach.
Hey, thanks. Good to see everybody. That's awesome.
Obviously, we were just talking about the excitement of Saturday, handling success. What did you see out on the practice field today as these guys got back after it?
Yeah, no, we had a great mindset. We showed up into the building, really, lots of guys yesterday, and then certainly all throughout the day today. So had the attention that you want. And again, our guys are not satisfied. I do think it's a very mature group, and the test of time will tell. But we started, right back over. Just had a great response from the guys, and I think they see what the opportunity is in front of them, and know that. You watch a little bit of tape of Missouri, and you'll quickly find out. I've been telling the offensive staff and defensive coaches that for probably about the last month. We've seen a lot of crossover games, and Missouri's probably the best defense that I've watched, not named Oklahoma Sooners. And I say that respectfully, but they're very good. And I've been telling them, I'm like, the best one, the most complete, the sound, physical, really good players at all three levels. And then they're number one in the SEC in total defense. I think they're ahead of us by about a yard. And I think we're a few points. I think they're giving up around 19 points a game. We're giving up 14, and they haven't had as many disruptive plays as far as like tackles for loss and sacks and things like that. But they're really good. And again, just look at I put up the schedule in front of the players. And like, you just go down the list. I mean, they lost to Alabama by 3. They lost to Vanderbilt by a touchdown.
When they caught the
Hail Mary on the 1-yard line on the last play of the game. They beat South Carolina 29-20. They put 50 on Mississippi State 2 days ago. And the several other games. Again, they've played really, really good football. Texas A&M, it was a one-score game at halftime, and they didn't have their quarterback, and they ran a fake punt. A&M does. They stop them coming out of half. They stop them, and then A&M runs a fake punt for like 40. and just kind of caught fire there.
And it was like 7-0 right before half, and they had that fumble that,
Yeah.
they took down to the 2.
Yeah, Eli's done a very good job. He's got a very good team and really good players. He's got a good roster. They've spent money in as far as NIL and things of that nature, and have done a really good job culturally speaking. So I think this is this might be 3 or maybe their 4th year where they could potentially win 10 games, and never been done there. So those are things that, again, I know they're talking about. But so our guys, they like I said, number one, regardless of who we're playing this week, our guys, we talked about before we went to Tuscaloosa, what's in front of us, and regardless of what happens on Saturday afternoon, man, we got 11 a.m. kick the following week. That's what I know is in right in front of this car. If the car is the season, and we have a windshield mentality, what's in front of us, things that we can control. We're going to get back at around 1 o'clock in the morning. We got to, recover quickly, and it's going to be a little bit shorter week. And we got a really good football team coming into our place. So we've been talking about that for a little while. But again, great leadership, all the things that have helped you continue to improve and get better. Because I think good teams, good players are coachable, and you fix mistakes throughout the course of the season. That doesn't mean that you're immune to other mistakes and things of that nature, but man, there's this hunger and an expectation to always kind of being on the rise, and individually, as a unit, and then as a football team. And my job is to give them flowers when I can, and I don't like to give much of that. That's not my nature. I'm not a high five and, man, you're the best ever, and, that's not me. And I just, on the pick six, I'm thinking about, the play before, Kobe. I'm still mad at Kobe.
How do you not get that ball? How do you not get that?
I'm glad the football gods were against me because we never would have scored that touchdown. But so my job is, hey, man, these are the things that we're good. We said we needed 2 things, okay, at the end of the day. If these 2 things go in the Sooners' way, we're going to win. I don't know what the score is going to be, but we're going to win. If the eye test, if everybody that watches the game says, and you leave no doubt, and they say Oklahoma is the most physical football team, that's number 1. And then number 2 is you got to win the turnover margin. There's no way conceivable against this team going on the road that we don't win the turnover margin, that we can win the game. And they were number 1 in the SEC, top 5 in the country in turnover margin. They've been really good, and we're in 100 and something. And we've done well the last couple of games, and but the offense didn't turn the ball over. And man, we played. We forced the ball out. That kind of goes without saying. And then our special teams were it was a landslide. And just a complete and total domination from that standpoint. And again, I'm not, beating our chest at all when I say that, but it was in every way possible. No penalties. Number 1, how good is that? No penalties on special teams. We got a lot of young guys that have been a part of that, but we played a really clean game, and we forced a turnover. We blocked a kick. We hit 3 field goals. Man, Grayson Miller was out of his mind. Our coverage units, man, we had several tackles for loss on our coverage units. Sategna on the first punt of the game, first punt return of the game, takes it 40.
Set the tone.
And really, if you're there, I took my headset off because I wanted to hear what it sounded like, how quiet it got. And I pointed that out to the players. You have an opportunity to go on the road to really affect the environment by how you do what you do, and everybody plays a part in that. And certainly that took the air out of the stadium momentarily, but. So we created incredible field position, and Grayson puts it on the 6-yard line there, on their last drive with 7 minutes to go in the game, and whatever it was, maybe 14-play drive, they go 40 yards. Mm-hmm. They're running it. It's conservative. It's, they're trying to protect. We had a couple sacks on that drive.
It's crazy how that all unfolded. Yeah. It's like they weren't sure how, they wanted to kill the clock, and then it's like, oh my gosh, we killed the clock. We don't have anywhere to go.
And but the special teams played just a huge role. And some of the things are just so mundane you don't really pay attention. But maybe it's something like, okay, they returned a kick, and so it was a little bit short, and they returned a kick, and they goes to the 20-yard line. And it looks like they got a 4 or 5 yard return, 6 yard return. But remember, if they just fair catch it, it goes to the 25. Well, you playing good people every play. You get 5. If you get a tackle for loss for, they lose 5 yards. Isn't that good?
Yeah.
And even though it's 1st and 10, it's at the 20, not the 25. And you add up all those little yards here and there, man. It adds up to a lot. And that's how you beat good people. Every yard has magnitude, and I think that's a mindset. I think everything. The tone is always set through the mindset, and so I think we have a team that. What the things I'm saying, I feel like the team is got a great handle on that, and a belief system in that, and so that's probably the most gratifying part for me is they like to have fun. So man, the fun's in the winning. Y'all want to have fun? Let's turn Dixieland up and let's go in the locker room after we win a game, and so you got to kind of create vision for that, and it ain't about. When you get to those spaces, anybody that's been in a locker room, it has nothing to do with where you're at or who you just beat as much as it does. Man, you get a time to just one of those moments where you get to celebrate a week's worth of just a lot of commitment, a lot of strain. It's really more than a week. It's all the way starting back in January. And so every time you only get 12 guaranteed games, and so you need to have perspective and kind of just some joy and gratitude in the moment, and because as soon as you get back, it's like I told the boys, we got back. It's like maybe it's 12:30. I said, all right, you boys got 25 minutes till curfew, and they just kind of got real quiet for a minute, and I told them I'll meet them at Logie's or wherever we were going. I'm kidding.
But
I'll see you at Logie's. No.
This team is very focused.
Yeah.
It seems very focused. You said it last week. You even had leaders that are like, Coach, we got this. It's got to be incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, right, no doubt. No, you've seen a lot of guys grow up just right before your eyes here over the last couple of years, and that's fun because again, I just use a guy like Grayson Halton, who was as silly and immature, in not a bad way in any way, 3.5 years ago, and just had a lot of growing up to do. He was just always messy, spilt milk wherever he is, man. It's spilled milk everywhere, and not a mass murderer. Just always like, Grayson, man, get it together, brother. And now he's just like, man, I got this, man. He's getting in everybody's face. He's celebrating, getting the guys together. He's just a galvanizer of people, and awesome. And though you can't put a price, a value on that to continue to build your team. The belief system, the work, just having each other's back, believing in one another. You can't play this game alone,
no.
And so anyway, yeah, they were great. They were great.
Awesome. All right, our opening segment is always brought to you by Noble McIntyre with McIntyre Law. Noble McIntyre and McIntyre Law, award-winning Oklahoma personal injury attorneys. Let Ted ask some questions. When we come back, it's Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables live from Rudy. Stick around.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Bob Moore Ford, official sponsor of the Patriot of the Game. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination of OU Athletics. One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, fan-fueled, athlete-focused.
Man in motion is Hill. There's the snap. Quick throw across the middle. Intercepted. Eli Bowen's got it 20. On the return 30. Only one man to beat. He's in midfield. It's a race. There goes Bowen. 30. Cuts near side. Still on his feet. 20. At the 10. They're not going to get it. Pick 6. They did it to him again. Pick 6. This time Eli Bowen. Touchdown Sooners. Oh, mama.
Love it. Love it. Coach, that last week, we were kind of talking about Robert Spears-Jennings and Peyton Bowen not getting the blocking they needed on their return.
Yeah.
Boys were blocking this time, weren't they?
Yeah, we pointed it out. They didn't take them long to learn. But what a great display. We have a championship strain award that we award every week. And so we watched that with the guys again, just looking at several different players that were part of that made it happen and blocked several guys. Several guys blocked more than one guy.
Yeah, I like Heineke comes from that backside and goes out and gets the running back, who's probably the only guy that has a chance to come across and make the play. Just, it's awesome whenever you get that big convoy going down the sideline.
No doubt. When was it, you were on that. You were on the sideline when we did that at A&M, right? Coming back in that game with Torrance Marshall.
Yep.
But yeah, no, those are huge. Obviously he sucked the wind right out of the stadium and give the guys a lot of confidence, for the rest of the night right there. But man, I love that. What a group effort that was right there.
Well, a bunch of guys played really well, but just the execution of the scheme I thought was great. There was a lot of chess match going on out there before the snap. They were huddling, they'd come up, they'd wait, and you guys were moving around, changing plays, and it messed with them in protection a couple of times.
Yeah, and we certainly weren't perfect in doing so. We gave up a touchdown on another one, and we had a man concept that I think one of our guys looked to the sideline. Next thing you know, they snapped the ball, and his guy worked inside of him. But, they're a very good team, super well coached. They got a great system. They have lots of answers built in their system. They see this, they do that, they do that, they do this. And you can't just sit there and think that's going to be okay. Can you be okay sometimes? Absolutely. Can you go from the beginning to the end of the game and everything's going to be okay when they see your structure, your rotation, your front, your pressure, your coverage? No, when they're that good, they'll make you pay. So our players, and it doesn't matter what we know, our players are the ones that have to have the intuition and the ability to communicate and the ability to comprehend and be able to go out and execute it. And they did a fantastic job, on the night.
All right. I think we've done 10 shows this year for the 10th straight show somewhere in there. I'm going to ask about Taylor Wine.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that kid, man. What a developmental story he's
doing. Just another really dominant, productive day. We have the analytics programming that we subscribe to, and they named that as one of the top 4 plays in the game that impacted the game, whether it's for Alabama or it's for Oklahoma. That play, the strip sack, and it kind of goes without saying, but the great play here, blocking the field goal, and then beats his man one-on-one. We got a nice little pressure coming in here, his zone blitz, and the quarterback held the ball just long enough.
PJ gets back there in that hook, and he's got to pat the ball for that extra second.
They're running 2 receivers. We got 2 on top, and we had 1 inside, and because of that, having 3 over 2, he held the ball just long enough for him to get there. So the coverage helped with the sack without question. Here's a good physical tackle. Taylor's incredibly humble, and he works incredibly hard, and I know I've bragged on him lots, but he's in the building as much as the coaches every single day, and he's just a ball junkie, and got great humility, doesn't get satisfied, super hungry, and just a really tough, heavy-handed, physical kid.
Tell us about the offense. After one of those turnovers, you saw Mateer punch that in. That 20-yard run was excellent to get that touchdown there, and then smooth, efficient night for him.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, we are 3-3 in scoring in the red zone again, which is we're number 1 in the country in red zone offense. We gave up 2 sacks. Neither one of them were on the offensive line. So we're getting better there. They blocked a pretty good front when it comes to protection. We got to create more explosive plays. We got to be better at some of our perimeter blocking. I left a little bit to be desired, on the night. But we were efficient. We still haven't been able to, push the ball down the field like we need to. There's a really nice job of a play action where we're able to draw the backers up and get the dig in behind. And here's one for Burks. Again, you're playing good people. You'd love to hit that runner, and next thing you go for 40. But a really good job. That's our 4th one in a row there that you see some balls over the middle. And a really nice little timing there on 3rd and medium, spacing concept by Giovanni and the tailback getting out to kind of put him in conflict there. But overall, again, they took care of the ball. When we got in a scoring position, we scored. And we had a couple of penalties once we got around midfield or just past midfield that killed some drives. We had an intentional grounding. We have a tunnel screen there. I don't love that call. We'll see what they say about that because we throw it. Sategna's running in a tunnel screen and behind. They covered it well. Mm-hmm. And then they gave us a cracked block on, unnecessary roughness. I guess, we hit the DN too hard or something. But I think when they watch it, they're going to, it wasn't a devastating, nobody launched. No, it was not egregious by any stretch. And then that really hurt. And then we had a false start by one of our offensive linemen that, again, those are, mistakes that, we got to have a little better pressure or poise rather in those situations, and they're drive killer kind of plays, but we're able to overcome. We had the lead, we gave up the lead, and then we came back and got the lead again there at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and we're able to hold them off, and we played some good complementary football even though we didn't score again. Took care of the ball, didn't do anything stupid, and we controlled the field position really for the most part the whole second half. We gave up a drive right out the gate in the third quarter, and then after that, man, it was all Sooners, and on all three phases really playing well together in the second half.
We got a whole segment set up for special teams coming up next.
Oh,
but
good.
We'll talk about punt coverage, Grayson was amazing on Saturday night. But before we grab that break, Coach, I did want to ask you about a couple of individuals on the offense, and they're being smart. They're not turning the football over. Jelani Gibson, more involved. Jermichael Carter starting to see a little bit more of a role. X gets dinged up and yet still goes out there and runs strong. You're starting to see some individuals really step up this time of year, it seems.
Yeah, your guys are just getting better. We're not where we want to be yet. We still got room to grow and improve, and that's still the focus. Again, a good football team, a good football player is coachable. We fix mistakes, we get better. And so that's really kind of where we're at, and then, situationally, there's a lot to learn. Maybe it's we had to settle for a field goal. We got in the red zone in the first half, and 1st and 10, we get in there, and they drop 8 in coverage. We're inside the 10-yard line, and we hit Dion on a little runner on the strong side. Well, he runs right into the teeth of 2 linebackers, and we got to catch it. We got to get vertical right now, And because an 8-yard gain inside the 15-yard line is like a 25, 30-yard gain out in the middle of the field. Instead, it was a 2-yard gain. And then on, I think, 3rd and goal, we had that little quarterback counter that looked like we had a hole. We got to punch that thing vertical, and we tried to bounce it, and they're too fast. And we had a little RPO. The receiver comes open in the backfield, but here come the 2 defenders, and it's going to be a ball in jeopardy if you try to throw it there. And so we end up settling for a field goal, but we're not off, by very much in a couple of those situations. And so that's my challenge to the staff. Number one is, we don't have to get better this much, okay? We just have to get a little bit better this week, okay? And maybe it's a little better in the red zone. It's a little better, and more precise in some of our angles and how we're blocking on the perimeter. Maybe it's our play design, on 3rd down, and, to put people on their heels and not let people, dig their cleats in. And, and all those same things apply, to all 3 phases that we're talking about. So that's really where our focus is. But we've had several players, to your point, that have gotten better, and you're seeing a little more confidence from them as a result.
This segment is presented by Dos Equis. Dos Equis, the official import beer of OU Athletics. Go for Dos. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. You're watching Sooner Sports Talk with Brent Venables. Stick around.
Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by OU Fan Shop. The best place to gear up for game day is shop.soonersports.com. Sooner Kids Club. Log on to Soonersports.com/kids for information about joining the Kids Club presented by OG&E and brought to you in part by Devon Energy. Walden Cleaners and Laundry, where the difference is quality.
Comes back near side. Now he tries to go far, dancing between tacklers up across the 25. Tackle to the 30. Ball's out. Loose on the field. Who's got it? Sooners say they've got it. Sooners sideline says they've got it, but no official agrees with them yet. Sammy Omosigho up out of the pile, and Oklahoma's got the football.
The old peanut punch.
Peanut punch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It worked. That defense, secondary really seemed to, linebackers, everybody seemed to be real aggressive in punching the ball out, Coach.
Yeah.
Coaching point, something just the guys taking personal?
No, just, we do turnover circuit every day. We've been emphasizing it, but I think our players realize too, when they found out that Alabama was number one in the country, I don't know, maybe it created a heightened sense of awareness and, told them every day, threw it in their face, there's no way possible we can win this game if we don't win the turnover margin. So they believed us this week. Hopefully that'll kind of catch fire. A huge part of the game. We disrupted the football a lot, even when we didn't get it back.
Yeah,
and,
the ball was on the ground a lot out there.
Yeah, and I think our guys played with a little more purpose and just were obsessed about it. And as a result, I thought we were just, really physical. And we've had a good physical year, but I thought it was better. And again, I thought our offense I think Sategna got one on a little perimeter screen that got popped out. He recovered it. But other than that, we did a great job taking care of the ball. The special teams there was a huge part of that. Our special teams is the most updated rankings this week. We were number one overall special teams in college football. So great job by our players and Coach Deacon. Our players have kind of grown up in the system. We got so many guys that this is, again, year 3 or year 4 for them. And Coach Deacon does an amazing job as a teacher and getting guys excited about it, and coaches as well. You'll get an opportunity to get a chance to hear from him a little more. You'll quickly find out why, the players are so passionate about playing and competing for him.
He came on Coach's Corner a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
He was awesome.
Was he? Yeah.
I mean, there is a love that you can have for your kicker and your punter and your special teams. This dude loves it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all he's ever coached, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no, he does a great job, and getting in front of the team does a really good job to draw their attention and just keep them engaged and make it fun for them. And, he's very self-deprecating, so they like that too.
Well, you saw the freshmen out there on offensive line. Again, they continue to do well for Susie Foger, and looks like Eddie Pierre-Louis starting to settle in there, man.
No doubt.
He's bringing it.
Yeah, Alabama's one of Coach Womack and his staff do an amazing job. They've got great players. They're very multiple, super aggressive. And if there's ever a team that, you're going to have a lot of disruption on your offensive line, it's going to be against those guys. And I think, again, as I said earlier, only 2 sacks that were not on the offensive line. And then I think 4 tackles for loss, which they're going to make a few of those just by blitzing and things of that nature. So that's a group that's gaining confidence by the rep.
All right, this segment is brought to you by Riverwind Casino, the official entertainment destination for OU Athletics. By the way, it was cool to see your boys there.
Yeah.
I mean, that was awesome.
No,
I know your daughters have been able to go on a lot of road trips, but with Clemson playing Friday night, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, yeah. Make
Were
a
you
grown
able to
man.
dap them up?
Oh, yeah. Make a grown man want to cry. Yeah.
It was awesome.
No, to be able to kind of share that moment, it was. So.
Hey, let's talk about Missouri, shall we?
All right.
Our opponent outlook is brought to you by One Oklahoma. One Oklahoma and Sooner Sports Properties fan, field, athlete focused. You said it. You've watched a lot of their games, and that's one of the best defenses you've seen outside of Oklahoma. Yeah, no, just, again, a complete football team. They've, they lead the nation in rushing. It's not a gimmick. They know how to block people, and they create explosive plays. They've got lots of different ways that they do it, formationally and motions and styles of runs. They'll gap scheme, zone scheme, inside scheme, outside or inside zone, outside zone, the stretch. Good play actions that they set up off of it, and again, they've recruited well. They got a very good roster, and they play with great discipline. They play together. You can tell that they've got good culture there. You don't do what they've done over the last several years, beat the teams that they've beaten over the last several years, and have the kind of success they have had without doing things the right way or with the right kind of people. So, again, there's Hardy. Man, you better freaking bring it with this guy. He is as physical of a back that we played all year, over the last several years for that matter. He's got great balance, great vision, and he can do that. He can take the top off your defense. He can stop and start. And, there's if you relax at all whatsoever or try to do a little bit too much, and that's the second one that he cut back,
and 325 yards, 326 yards rushing. That stuff don't happen by accident. You don't just look up and lead the nation in rushing, and you're not at a service academy. And great challenge. I love that. So last week it's, hey man, they've 17 straight games at home, the nation's longest streak, and nobody's beaten them, in the SEC at home since 2019, and they've won 8 straight, and the only team in the country has beaten 4 straight, 4 ranked teams. And so guys like to be, when you're keeping score, and you challenge them, they like that, and we'll do something that nobody else is doing. And so there's a lot obviously at stake and on the line, but it's really not about that. That's a kind of a result. You're really looking at more, what do we need to do to, to have a chance to defend the nation's best rusher, or to be able to score points against the SEC's #1 defense, in Missouri. So, and a team that beat us, we lost a turnover margin. We gave up their defense scored on us, I think it was 4 to 1. We scored on defense. We had the lead with 2 minutes, and we gave up a 2-minute drive to let them to tie it up. And that one still hurt. That's last year. You don't win because of revenge and all that kind of thing. But just having gone against them, you learn a lot through that. And so our guys are well versed in what's in front of them, and have great respect for Missouri.
Wild how similar those numbers are. It should be fun. 11 a.m.
Hey, and this guy right here, hold on.
Yeah, Zion Young?
This guy, there was an overtime game. Who was that against?
Missouri
Yeah, remember
overtime?
the Missouri, and this guy Zion Young. He goes out there for the new coin flip.
Right.
And he's losing his mind. And I'm like, they're getting ready to freaking dominate this overtime. And he just went nuts. And it was really, you could not, because I remember I'd already watched their defense and kind of respect, what they're doing. And I'm like, I see. You know what I mean? You got to have a few lunatics, and and I say that respectfully. So
absolutely. It's crazy, but it's our kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Our opponent preview is brought to you by One Oklahoma, powered by Sooner Sports Properties, Fan Field, athlete focused. We get one more segment with Coach Venables next, live from Rudy's. Stick around.
Thank you to our cornerstone television partners, OU Health, OG&E, Fowler Auto Group, and Coca-Cola. Sooner Sports Talk is brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. OU's 2025 football games are available on Ritmo 96.5 FM in Oklahoma City and 101.5 FM El Patron in Tulsa, as well as on these stations' websites. Each OU Spanish broadcast will feature a 30-minute pregame show and a 15-minute postgame show.
Burke's in motion, now trips left. Mateer's going to run it himself to the right, to the 20. Steps over defenders, 15. He's to the 10. He's to the 5, spinning still. Touchdown! John Mateer, touchdown! A 20-yard run by John Mateer right up the gut of the Crimson Tide.
How about that? That was an awesome run by John Mateer. This segment brought to you by Mercy. Mercy, your life is our life's work. And Coach Venables, he's looking like that John Mateer we saw running the football early in the season.
Yeah,
seems like he's getting comfy.
Last few weeks, he's had some really good, tough physical runs. He's got great feet and balance, and he's usually falling forward. And really, again, on the night, I thought our pile, again, just another week of just incrementally getting the pile to go, whether it's defense pushing them back or offense pushing them forward, and getting our guys going in the right direction.
Yeah, fun to see.
Yeah, it was good to see. A couple. Giovanni Gibson, you mentioned it playing, had a couple of catches, but Jermichael Carter also a couple of really nice plays, starting to get a few different players in.
Yeah, and I think Jermichael caught 3 balls, and he's really becoming a factor in our special teams as well. He loves kickoff. The first time I met him, we talked for about an hour on the phone. I'm like, let me find out what this guy's got. And one of the first things, he was kind of spitting back at me a little bit. I tried to challenge him, and it was really fun and engaging conversations. But he got, Coach, if you need a safety, I'll come to Oklahoma as a safety. He goes, he said, pull my tape up. I'm like, you can't play safety. You won't hit nobody, And he's like, He goes, wait a second. So he started sending. He sent me while we're on the phone his huddle highlight from high school to prove me wrong. Like, and he's not wrong. He's big, strong, rangy, and cool thing for him. He's got a few years here to keep developing, and man, he loves to compete, and teammates really love him.
All right, it's time for our question from a fan. This is from Chris in Washington. He wants to know what's been the biggest key for the offense in minimizing turnovers over the last few weeks. Thanks.
Well, again, I'm not all the way there yet because it was just one game ago. In the fourth quarter.
That's true against Tennessee.
Yeah, after we get in plus territory and got a first down, both times we got a fumble and an interception. But I think our guys are. Again, we've been practicing ball security, our drills, a couple times a week all season long, but just maybe the magnitude of the turnovers and, maybe sometimes you fail. We lost the turnover margin against Texas and against Ole Miss. And so in the Ole Miss game's a one-score game. Those things matter at the end of the day. So I think our guys are they've got a heightened sense of urgency about it.
Is there a balance there? I know you always want to preach ball security and taking care of it and don't put it in harm's way, but you got to take some risks to make plays against good defenses. So how do you find that balance to where, you got to be able to cut it loose and make some of those throws? You can't pull everything down. Yeah,
I think some of that is okay. At some point in time, enough is enough as far as they play, and maybe some of the fight and the strain to finish a play. And protect yourself. There's always somebody coming that you don't see. And so a lot of it's about the finish of the play. Doing the things from a security standpoint, fundamental standpoint to finish the play the right way to prevent that from happening.
All right, before we let you get out of here, 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Yep. We know what's out in front of this team. Early start. This fan base is used to early starts. We need to bring the juice.
Yeah, just like our last early game against Ole Miss, man. We didn't win the game, but it wasn't because of our fans. The fans were fantastic. This is a playoff game. I don't have to. This is some of the most knowledgeable, passionate, committed fan base in the country. So I don't want to feel like I'm talking down to anybody or giving anybody a rah-rah. But man, show up early. We need everybody. It's going to take all of us together to have a chance to win. So look forward to seeing everybody.
And I think you said it. It needs to be hammered home. Don't get caught up in records, what you've seen on tape, and all it takes is look. This is a good Missouri team that's coming in.
An excellent Missouri team. So, having a home field advantage and creating a real hostile environment for the opponent. That's the way we do it. We're very hospitable to the opponent.
But they get loud, get crazy, stomp, cheer, whatever it takes. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate y'all,
man.
Boomer Sooner. Good to see everybody.
That's Brent Venables. Stick around. Teddy and I will come back to wrap it up live from Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue next.
We want to thank all of our Sooner Radio Network affiliates across the state and region. Fans can check out Soonersports.com for an affiliate in your area. And if you're traveling outside the state of Oklahoma, you can listen to all the action on either SiriusXM Radio or download the Varsity Network app and listen free. The Sooner Sports Podcast is your all-access audio pass to Sooner Sports. Listen as Toby Rowland and Chris Plank talk all things Sooners. Log on to Soonersports.com/podcast or search Sooner Sports Podcast in your favorite podcast provider. The Sooner Sports Podcast is presented by Allstate and Riverwind Casino.
Snap, Simpson looks left, throws out to the left, it's broken up, incomplete! Peyton Bowen knocked it down! Alabama's got an Oklahoma problem, and the Sooners are on the bracket. Wow!
I didn't realize it at the time, Ted, on the sidelines. Peyton Bowen made a heck of a play. You could easily get a PI there, grabbing the guy.
Yep.
That's a good throw. It's probably going to make the catch. I don't know if he's got the first down or not, but he goes over the top. That's a big-time play, and he had a big-time game Saturday.
It was, and, just like Coach Venables talking about, like, every yard matters, every inch matters. You see Grayson Holton gets great push up the middle, and he puts the offensive lineman back in Ty Simpson's lap. He doesn't have a great platform to throw, and that ball's a little inaccurate there. So you can go through almost every play on defense and just see great individual efforts out there. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Our final segment here is brought to you by your local Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. All right, let's hit a couple of checkmark things we haven't talked about. How good was Kip Lewis on Saturday night? Seemed like he was in the middle of everything.
I love that kid. He's so good. He's so fun to watch. He's a great teammate. Last year he made a bunch of big, loud plays, right? But, the consistency. He is consistent. You know exactly what you're going to get every single game with him. Incredible effort, incredible physicality, just flies to the football, brings the energy. I mean, I was going to say like the entire game, but it never stops with him. It's 24/7 every single day. There he is just whipping their running backs. Their running backs had a really bad day in pass protection, but I love him. He's scratching the surface now. I think that he's only going to continue to get better and better.
Yeah, he's always moving. I don't think I've ever seen him sit down. He's a shark.
If he stops moving, he dies.
Is that what happens with a shark?
That's it.
I didn't know that. Also, another guy that I wanted to talk to you about was Owen Heineke. And there was a couple plays that Owen Heineke probably wants back on Saturday, but I thought he did a good job. Kobe McKenzie, not as many snaps. Seems like he's getting back to 100%.
I thought Kobe, he was good. Kobe came in, and he set the tempo physically. Yeah. He had a couple of really big hits on the inside. Owen Heineke played really well, making a bunch of tackles, physical. Thought he was better in coverage. Omasigo got in there. I mean, just think, like, the depth that we have on this defense, you don't see that anywhere else. I mean, Jordan makes that big sack late, right? And he doesn't play a whole bunch of snaps. But even with that, the shortened rotation on the defensive line, Jaden Jackson played, but not a bunch. And then, obviously, our Mason Thomas out. More guys had to step up and play more snaps and be impactful, and they did.
Yeah, our Mason Thomas, Jaden Jackson, limited snaps, not as many snaps from Kobe McKenzie. Gentry Williams didn't play,
yep.
And Oklahoma still went out, was the best team on the field. Happy birthday tomorrow, dude.
I appreciate that, Blaine.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's Ted's birthday tomorrow. It's a national holiday. Drake tried to make it his birthday like 2 weeks ago, but a week ago, sorry. But now, Ted's birthday. Happy birthday, dude. Enjoy it.
Official.
Hey, thanks for hanging out. What a great crowd here tonight. We'll see you next Monday night. Go get crazy on Saturday. This has been Sooner Sports Talk from Rudy's.
Sooner Sports Talk has been brought to you by Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, bringing you the best in real Texas barbecue. And by Riverwind Casino, always a good time. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Sooner Sports Network.